If you're an Xbox fan right now, you're kind of cooked. There is a lot of stuff going on right now that makes me feel empathetic towards your situation. I'm just going to take the time in this video to discuss the recent events going on at Xbox. I'll give you my perspective on everything that's going on with Xbox, but I also want to just provide you from player to player, like a solution to fix, some of these problems that you might have going on. If you don't know me, I go by Critical Fish, and I've put about 10 years into Nintendo games. I've put 10 years into PlayStation games. And those are my two favorite kind of video game brands that just are the umbrella for all these different video game experiences that I've played over the past 15 years of my video game life. And without it, even in recent years and in recent months even, stuff would not be the same if I hadn't played on Nintendo or PlayStation systems from the get-go. This is not a video to shit on what you enjoy. If you're going to be an Xbox fan going forward, go for it, man. I don't care. I'm just here to give you my perspective on the story as someone who has been deep diving, not into just the video games themselves, but I've been checking out, reading, covering, and been extremely interested in how the whole picture works, okay? Why are these companies investing in certain types of games? Why do consoles still exist in 2025? Why don't I have a gaming PC, What is Nintendo thinking when it comes to sequels and stuff like that? Is PlayStation going to keep growing as a brand and bringing more games to PlayStation? And where are the players playing? I just love diving in to the game industry as a whole. I like seeing what people play, what they're looking forward to, and what companies are building. So if you're into that, I guarantee that you're going to enjoy this video. So right off the bat, let's talk about the big ones, okay? The Xbox Series line of consoles, which includes the X and the S, have had a major price increase worldwide, okay? It's different prices for every region, but, end of the day, the prices are going up, okay? That can be due to different economic factors. That can be due to personal brand failure. I don't really care. The message is that if you want to get into these systems, the prices are going up. They're not going down, which is usually what would happen at this time in a console's lifespan. The PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series lines are about 5 years old at this point. And so you should be seeing these major discounts for stuff like Black Friday. But honestly, I think we're going to be seeing sales at their normal default price point when they released back in 2020, which is kind of nuts. So that's what's going on with the hardware. For the software, prices are also going up. Who would have thought, So in Xbox's camp, the big selling point of the ecosystem is this thing called Gamepass, okay? They do not incentivize the users on Xbox to purchase games outright. They actually want you to join their subscription service where games are filtered through different tiers of the service, and you can join the service for as low as, I want to say, $15 a month, and you can pay now upwards of $30 a month to play some of these great games, okay? And right off the bat, I'll say that Game Pass has and continues to offer some pretty great value when it comes to what's in it, okay? Because Xbox has acquired a lot of studios as of late, like Activision, you can just go ahead and play pretty much any Call of Duty game through Game Pass at a low price point of $15, okay? And that's pretty appealing. You're not going to be paying outright $70 for one game. You get to try out a bunch of different stuff. That's great, okay? The problem comes into play when you want to continue playing, you're interested in video games as a whole, you want to keep seeing what's out there, but you are renting these games at the end of the day, okay? You will continue to pay more money over time. You might not finish games by the time your monthly payment comes up. And you might not even have access to a certain game by the end of the month if it gets removed from the service, okay? These are really just first world problems and, might be very selective and limited when it comes to these types of problems. But it's the whole idea of renting versus owning. Okay, do you truly value the experience of what you're about to try or do enough to own it outright? Or do you just want to rent it and throw that money away? It's up to you. Now, the other problem is that Xbox as a whole has been inconsistent with their software releases. You don't always know as a fan when these new games are going to come out. And even if they get announced with a release date and they release, are they going to be good? Are you going to enjoy them for what they are? And is it even a game that you're actually looking forward to play? End of the day, these are experiences that you're just choosing to play with your time on your hands. So are you even excited for what they're pushing out? That's the other big point. Now, a couple other small stories, because there are no next-gen hardware upgrades for Xbox, and they kind of see themselves as capped out in terms of power and usage for their systems, they decided to release a handheld device made by another company. The ROG Ally, Xbox Ally just released, and the entry point cost for that is between $600 and $1,000 if you want to just play your Xbox games on the go. I mean, I don't even know why this is a thing. Like, it's actually pretty frustrating because you can't even play all of the Xbox games that are in Xbox Gamepass on this little handheld device. It's not a guarantee. It's just like a good chunk of the games that you can play. So that released, to me, it's like an unofficial mod for whatever you want to play on your Xbox system, and I don't like it at all. It is a bad solution to what they're trying to push. But, maybe 3 people will buy it. In bigger problems, we've got games being canceled left and right, and because this is corporate America greed and Microsoft is running ship here, they're just willing to look at people and games and projects as numbers on a spreadsheet and cancel games left and right. Some examples include Everwild, Perfect Dark, and an unnamed game from ZeniMax Studios that has been being worked on in the dark. And a lot of these projects are from great people, They're getting paid a decent wage to come together and make a great experience for you to play. They're being creative and they want to release a new cool thing. But at the end of the day, all this greed and this miscommunication with goals and objectives within the studios, but also the overall corporation of Microsoft as a whole, can just go ahead and ruin that experience for you. And you might not even get to see what these people have been working on. Whether or not they're good is a whole nother question, but the idea is developers are being screwed over by Microsoft. And because of that, it just leads to an overall lack of new games on the ecosystem. You're just going to see less and less great stuff pop up because the developers go to work every day and they hate their lives because they don't know if their game's ever even going to come out. They don't know if what they're doing on a day-to-day basis even matters. It might just be a number on a spreadsheet at the end of the day. So it's just a really unfortunate situation. And the last thing is that Microsoft has a huge booming focus on AI right now. And if you haven't read into stuff, AI is really a destructive tool for the video game industry right now, as far as we see it. AI taps into art and creative direction, but it's also very technically advanced. So video games are the perfect blend of artistic vision and tech. So it's becoming a very disruptive tool for how video games are made and why certain video games are made. And a lot of companies are just looking at, investing into video game creation as a risk, which is a really bad sign. And Xbox is no stranger to that concept because Microsoft, again, is running ship. So that's pretty much all the recent headlines that have been going on with Xbox as of late. A lot of negative things have been popping up here and there. And in terms of my thoughts, my biggest initial reaction to this situation is empathy. Like, I feel bad for you if you've been on the Xbox train for months or years or decades and it's come to this point. I will tell you from an outside perspective, as someone who has literally just been playing, first and foremost, not critiquing, not judging, not looking for steals and deals, as someone who has been actively looking and getting excited for and playing games first and foremost for the past 10 years, I look at this situation and I feel bad. So the fact that they're getting wrapped up into this price drama, the console might not even come out for next generation. Prices are going up, games are getting canceled. It's just a mess, dude. It's just a fucking mess. And I'll just say, as an avid PlayStation fan over the past 10 years, it's been cool. It's been cool to resonate with not only the brand, but like everything that falls under its umbrella. I've got a stack of games next to me, and just over the past couple of years, I've played some games that are life-changing experiences for me. Like, it makes me think from a design perspective. It makes me think about my real life experiences, how some of the stuff in games translates to real life. I look into developer interviews. I look into podcasts about game design. This just hits home for me most of the time. And I spend most of my time playing and then appreciating. I'm not just going to sit down and look forward to a game that comes out in 2 years and that's the only game. I'm too busy. I'm too busy playing good games. So that's just how I feel about the situation as a whole. Not just as a PlayStation fan, but just as a player in general. I don't look at myself as a collector or like a fanboy. I'm a player, like, end of the day. Like, this year alone, I've probably played about 50 games, okay? And I've beaten most of them. And that's just from a pure standpoint of excitement, It's not out of boredom. It's not out of desperation. It's because I'm genuinely interested in what I get to play. So a couple more thoughts on this Xbox thing. I think the brand as a whole is kind of staggered, right? People are not incentivized to join the service, especially after these new price increases, right? That doesn't attract new fans. So I'm looking at that and I'm like, okay, the name Xbox in and of itself is mostly just popular within the US, but the word Xbox implies like a physical unit that you're going to use, which made sense back in the day when all you could do was buy discs and pop them in the machine. But in today's world, their message is that you can play anywhere and that this is an Xbox, that's an Xbox, that's an Xbox. And it works, but I honestly think they're at a point now where they should just rebrand as a whole. Like, I honestly think Microsoft Gaming sounds better. That would be like a fresh starting point for what this has turned into. Maybe it makes it less unique and it definitely kind of ends an era, but it's been happening, man. It's been happening. They've been on the downward trend and they're still called Xbox. That's why people are upset that their thing, their vision of what Xbox is going down into the gutter. So overall, my thoughts are just disappointment and empathy for the fans of Xbox systems. I think if you're still in the ecosystem of Xbox, you're literally getting screwed in every regard. Literally every single benefit that you could have had playing Xbox over the past 5 years has diminished in some way. It has not improved. If I'm wrong about this, I would love to hear in the comments about what your favorite games that you've played through Xbox have been over the past 5 years. I genuinely want to know, because as someone from the outside, I have literally never had a thought of purchasing an Xbox, getting Game Pass, or buying a gaming PC to improve my gaming life. It just hasn't happened. Now that you can kind of see my stance on everything regarding Xbox, I want to share a potential solution to switch things up, okay? If all you've been doing is playing on Xbox for the past 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, 2 years, a year, I don't care. I think there's no better time to drop your system entirely, drop your progress, drop your account, drop your hardware, drop the controllers, drop your games, and get it out and start fresh than now. I think now is the best time to leave. And I say that not as a fanboy. I say this as someone who plays games as the primary hobby. I really respect the art form. I love how the developers think. I love all the different types of games that you can play. And I genuinely think that gaming is one of the best things that exists on the planet, okay? My pitch is that you should buy a PlayStation 5. I guarantee if you took your Xbox, took your controllers, or even took parts of your gaming PC, you know, maybe just some things around the house too, and you sell them off, either to GameStop or eBay, or just, you know, give them away or something, and you start to invest in a new ecosystem like PlayStation, you would be blown away, okay? 10 years ago, I started playing PlayStation seriously, and I think 10 years later, I'm still seeing some of those benefits come into play. Yeah, I wouldn't be the same person today if I didn't have all this stuff in the background here, okay? I love PlayStation. As I showed earlier, I've got all my PlayStation 5 games physically, and only the ones that I truly, genuinely care about and respect over the course of time. And I honestly just think you're going to have a better time playing PlayStation. Now, here's just a couple reasons why. PlayStation 5, the ecosystem itself is great, okay? You've got access to the storefront. You've got access to PlayStation Plus, which is a subscription service that is better and cheaper than Game Pass now. But you also have the best of the best games releasing on PlayStation, okay? The biggest incentive, if you're a Game Pass enjoyer where you like to pay monthly or yearly for a subscription service to play your games, that's great. I would actually argue that in 2025, PlayStation Plus is a better value than Game Pass in a lot of ways. I've been personally using PlayStation Plus Premium for the past couple months, and it's been great, you know? I don't play online multiplayer games that much, but I go ahead and I look at what's in the catalog for games that I could play, and it's insane. You know, I've bought most of the big new games day one on release, and I don't regret spending extra money to play those experiences. But, you know, months down the line or maybe a year down the line, those same games drop on PlayStation Plus, either Essential or Extra or Premium, and they're just there. You know, at its cheapest, I think PlayStation Plus is like $9.99 a month. And you can just go play like God of War Ragnarok for like $10. Like, it's insane. It's literally somewhat under the radar compared to Game Pass, because Game Pass is just, you know, said in your ear so much. But PlayStation Plus has a huge catalog of games that you can just go ahead and play, including stuff like Final Fantasy VII Remake, Resident Evil games, the God of War games, Horizon, Days Gone, Death Stranding, The Last of Us. It's got all these different indie games as well. Like, if I was jumping into this stuff with a fresh lens and perspective, and, you know, games are the priority here, PlayStation Plus has an insane amount of variety. So just for example, on GameStop right now, they're running a sale for this PS5 bundle that costs $580 US, okay? But it also comes with 2 years of PlayStation Plus Premium, which is bundled into the price of $580. Now, for 1 year of PlayStation Plus Premium, it's usually $160, I want to say, or $180, I want to say. But that gives you access to so much stuff. I can't even begin to explain the value there. So you're paying $400 upfront for the PlayStation 5 unit, but then you're also paying for 1 year of the subscription service, and then you're getting another year of that subscription service for free bundled into the price. And I'm just saying right now, if you do the math and you take your Xbox, whether it's an S or an X, your controller, some extra games that are laying around, maybe a couple extra things that are electronics based, you go trade that into GameStop, you pay for a pro membership, $15, to get extra credit on everything that you're trading in, which would be about, 30% extra. You're paying for like the majority of the value of this bundle here. And I'm just saying, man, if you're burnt out on gaming and you need a fresh start and you need a new ecosystem to feel like respected on and excited about, you go ahead and do this deal. I guarantee you will have so much fun and it will feel like a brand new, fresh experience for you, okay? The DualSense controller is amazing. The ecosystem is amazing. Trophies on every game works tremendously. Online is great. Communication in the parties is great. You get great discounts on the PlayStation storefront. You can buy physical discs for the system with reliable, trade-in value and stuff like that. You've got the PlayStation VR 2. You have access to every PlayStation exclusive that's released for the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5. You have a guarantee set of games that are bound to be released on the system as well, like Wolverine, the next Spider-Man, the next God of War, next Horizon, next brand new IP from the people making God of War, the people from Uncharted. Like, you have so much more of a strong foundation to work with here. And I just genuinely think that if you're like a hurt Xbox fan and you're willing to make some changes and get excited for gaming again, my basic pitch is that you should just buy a PS5. So that's what I think of everything going on with Xbox right now. I genuinely am not sure where the brand is going to go. I don't think it can go up from here. And I think that the name will change to Microsoft Gaming within the next couple of years. I don't know if they'll have a next-gen system. I don't know if they're going to keep Phil Spencer around. I don't know if studios will remain under Xbox for much longer. But I will say that this does give you the opportunity to switch things up. And my solution that I've been very happy with is buying a PlayStation 5. So I hope you think about things, and I want to know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks.